Good morning, you guys. I am here for a chat. So, I think I kind of want to talk about a shift that I noticed has been happening not in just my life, but in people that I'm close to, people that I know. We're all kind of like going through this shift in our life, like this growing, this like we're getting more business, more money, more, financially we're doing better, emotionally we're doing better. Like, there's just this really big shift going on. And if you're experiencing this in your life, definitely let me know. But I have noticed that we're all kind of coming out of really difficult times in our lives as well. Like, we all had a really rough, 2017, and seemingly all of a sudden 2018 is lit. So, if you know anything about me by now, you know that I think a lot about everything. I don't know, I'm very intuitive and, things like that. So, anyways, I can only speak for myself because I know where, my mindset is. I can't speak on other people who are experiencing this shift that I'm noticing. But, 2016, the end of 2016 and the majority of 2017 was pretty rough for me in many areas, of my life. Financially, we were going through a rough time. We have stuff going on with housing and my career, school, family life. 2017 was definitely a year of hard lessons, growth, transitioning, hard work. And I feel like, we all have potential. We all have our dreams, right? We all have our goals in life, right? And I really feel that we are capable of achieving everything that we want in our lives. And that doesn't look the same across the board for everybody. Everybody wants different things. Everybody has different ideas of what their best life would be. It's just that not everybody is willing to put in the work and the time, and not everybody believes that they could do it. You know what I mean? Not everybody has the same drive. So for me, because I can only really talk about myself, I heard years ago, okay, this is random, but years ago I used to watch the Kardashians, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I haven't watched them in literally years. It's been years. I keep saying that I want to binge them and try to catch up, but I don't know. I'm not really big into junk TV, you know what I mean? But anyways, I heard Khloe Kardashian say something years ago, and it stuck with me this whole time. And she said, "Fake it till you make it." Okay, so bear with me. I'm going to explain. Fake it till you make it, right? This is something that I've just kind of carried with me, and I repeat it all the time. I give this advice to other people because I feel like it kind of is what helps me. You know what I mean? I fake it till I make it. That's just me, right? So, I get questions, "Oh my God, Tash, how did it feel to do this or that?" Or "How are you managing this or that?" Or it feels like people feel like whatever I'm doing is just whoa, that they couldn't do it, which is not true. Not true at all. Definitely not true. So please, first of all, I'm going to go off on a side tangent. Stop comparing yourself to people. Stop comparing yourself. Nobody is all that. Nobody. I'm not all that. You're not all that. We all out here struggling together. Anyways, so back to faking it till you make it. So basically, with anything in life, this is kind of how I go into it, my mindset going into things. So picture the best version of yourself, whatever that person looks like, in your career. What kind of person do you want to be in your career? What kind of mother do you want to be? What kind of friend? What kind of sister? What kind of partner, that you want to be, right? And then emulate that. So what would the best version of you do in any given situation? think about that and then do it. So for me, like, I'll give you an example with my career. So naturally, I'm kind of like a mellow person. I'm pretty calm, quiet for the most part, unless like I know you really well, then I could be like, loud and crazy and wild. But for the most part, I don't like a lot of noise and chaos, right? But my line of work, being a makeup artist, right, sometimes that calls for a lot of chaotic situations, and that forces me to kind of like step outside of myself and fake it, you know what I mean, till I make it, right? And it's been working because I've been getting busier and I've been getting better, right? So an example would be the fashion shows are way outside of my comfort zone. It is probably the most uncomfortable situation that I find myself in, like the beauty business, right? I just did a show for Long Island Fashion Week a couple of weeks ago, right? And going into it, I was nervous because when I did New York Fashion Week last year, that was chaotic, right? So I kind of knew going into it that this was going to be a little bit wild, right? So I specifically thought, okay, Tash, like as I'm sitting outside of my car getting ready to walk into the venue, I'm like, okay, because if you're familiar, I do have like anxiety disorder, right? So I get really anxious, and I have really gotten better with my anxiety when it comes to like jobs, makeup jobs. It's just because I'm getting busier, so I'm like, getting familiar and kind of getting used to it, you know what I mean? So it's not as bad. But the fashion shows always seem to really, make me nervous. So I was sitting in my car outside of the venue, and I'm like, okay, thinking about the best Tash, the best version of myself. How would she feel right now? Like, what would she do in this situation right now? Because this is a very unfamiliar situation, because with this specific show, we were only supposed to bring our brushes, and the makeup was going to be provided. So I wasn't familiar with the brand. It's like a small, like, unknown brand type of thing, so I wasn't sure how the products were going to work. So I was nervous that it wasn't going to be a good representation of like my artistry, you know what I mean? Like, how was this going to work out? I was really nervous. So I said, you know what, Tash, I'm going to operate as my best self, like. So I got out of the car, I went and I handled it, right? Just in the back of my mind saying, this is, I got cut off, but like I was saying, like kind of telling myself, this is what I do. If I wasn't good at what I do, I wouldn't be landing these jobs. And you have to kind of like build yourself up, and you have to get cocky, and you have to like really like give yourself that pep talk and depend on yourself to do that. Because I know for me, like, I would look for that in others. I would look for that encouragement in others, but I'm learning to kind of like, no, I could do that for myself, you know what I mean? So I'm like, you know what, this is what I do. This is exactly what I do. This is what I'm going to be doing for a long time. I get better and better show after show. I get better and better client after client. Every single experience is a learning experience. And it was like when I made that mind shift, I'm telling you, like, the gates opened, and I'm getting so busy right now, you guys. Like, and I'm not tooting my own horn or trying to come off in any kind of way. I'm just sharing what I feel is working for me so that you could try it. And it's not just for careers, it's also in relationships with, like, your significant other, with your children, if you have, with your family members, with your friends. It goes in those, areas as well. Like, there's a shift going on in my family dynamics, not with like Jay and like my kids, I mean like in my family, like my siblings and things like that. There's a shift going on there, and like I just feel like, I don't know, the timing of everything is crazy to me. I'm really big into timing and like purpose and like, things like that. I think my cousin just came down here. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, I've been gone for a few minutes, but I'm back. So back to timing and purpose, right? And faking it till you make it. So Like I said in the beginning, I feel like we all have our dreams and our goals and everything like that. And I feel like I don't know what your beliefs are, and if you believe in God, if you believe in like the universe, or like what your belief system is, but I do feel like we kind of all have our gifts, and we all have our, our purpose in our life, right? And I feel like once we tap into and figure out what our purpose is, and one of the ways that I kind of view that, like what your purpose is, how do you know what your purpose is? I feel like your skills and your talents play a big part into what your purpose is, and like it's not by chance. Like your passions and your goals and your dreams are not by chance. I feel like so many people get caught up in like the rat race and in the money race, you know what I mean? Like they don't go after those careers. Like for me, and makeup, you know what I mean? Like for the longest time I kind of kept like putting it to the side, like, oh no, I couldn't possibly like be a makeup artist. Like, is that even a real job? Like, how do you make that work? How is that going to pay the bills? How am I going to ever be busy enough to make enough money to contribute, to the bills? And I should just stick to a regular 9-to-5 job with benefits and do it like that. And that's what most people do, I feel like. And that's why people are so miserable in their lives and in their jobs, is because they're not living in their purpose. You know what I mean? Because they're too concerned with money. And I feel like once you really tap into your purpose and you do what you're really supposed to do, like money will follow, you know what I mean? And I'm not crazy, guy. I understand the bills have to get paid, but you could still be doing stuff on the side. Like that's how I started off with makeup. Not saying that I'm some big star makeup artist making tons of money, because guys, I'm not. I'm still struggling. I'm still a struggling makeup artist. Like I have not arrived. I'm not saying that by any means. So if you think that's what's going on this side, like that's not the case. I chill. Like I'm not there yet. I'm just giving advice to anybody who wants to listen, and whatever you feel is true for you, then take that. But take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I am not some rich mogul expert. This is just stuff that kind of like works for me, and I love to share things like this, But I was, doing the regular job. I've had jobs, long-term jobs for years before I started, before I became a stay-at-home mom, and then started to really push like my makeup artistry. Makeup started off as a hobby. That's how, like, that's a good way for you to know like what your interest is and things like that. Is like, what are your hobbies, right? So my hobby was learning makeup. I was obsessed. I couldn't stop. I wanted to learn everything that I could about like skin types and makeup and what looks good with what skin type and things like that. So little by little I started to kind of like come into that, and that's kind of how it started. And then I started doing like little makeup jobs on the side, like as a side hustle. So that's what I'm saying to you. Like if you're not in a position right now financially to just like quit your job and like run after your dreams, you know what I mean? You could do little things here and there to still operate as your best version, doing what you love. It doesn't have to be like your main gig. I just encourage you to explore that and kind of push forward for that. But I feel like I'm going off track. So let's rewind and go back to timing and purpose, right? So I feel like once you figure out what your purpose is, you can start walking in alignment with that, right? Alignment with your purpose. That's when things start to fall into place and doors start to open, when you're walking in alignment with your purpose. I think sometimes walking in alignment calls for blind faith. It's just having that clear vision of your best life, your best version of you, what that person looks like, and then just setting yourself up and operating day to day as that best version. Like yesterday, I got 3 gigs. I got 3 clients yesterday. Like that doesn't typically happen, but I feel like it's because of the shift in my mindset and the way that I'm positioning myself, not just like career wise, but like at school, like with friendships, with my family. I'm setting myself up, and I have a clear vision of where I want to be in my life, who I want to be, what I want to look like, what kind of job that I want to have, what kind of car I want to drive. Like, you have to have that vision. You have to have it. You can't just be out there willy-nilly with no real direction. I personally, like, when it comes to my career, I don't exactly know where I want to take this. I don't know where I'm trying to go with this whole entire makeup thing. I just know what this is, my field. This is where I want to be in, like, my career. So I'm just expanding on that and seeing where it takes me, and just kind of having that faith that I will get there because I have that vision. And that's like with this whole, like, for example, like, Jay and I are trying to buy a house, right? So we have been on this for a few years trying to, like, get our credit ready, and, like, there's a million different things, you have to do to get a house, and we're trying to kind of, like, get all our ducks in a row. And I know in my best life we will be homeowners, and I'm telling you, doors are opening and things are starting to find. And then, like, with my family, not Jay and my kids, I mean, like, my siblings. In my case, it's my aunt and uncle and my cousins, who are very much like my parents and my siblings since they raised me, if you're not familiar. So I feel like there's a shift in dynamics there. And in my best life, I know that, our relationships are close and are really good. And I feel like situations are happening, conversations are coming up that need to happen for us to reach our next level, which is a whole nother thing that I will try not to go off on a tangent, because I don't even know how long this has been, and I should probably start wrapping up. But in a nutshell, and really quickly, and if you want me to talk more about this specific thing in another chat, let me know, because I feel like I could have a million side conversations and go into, like, a million different details about a million different things, but then this would take me all day to record. But sometimes, in order for us to reach the next level, to reach our next level, our next best level, towards the best version of ourselves, there are necessary steps to get there, and sometimes we're too stubborn to take those steps. Like, we'll get that inkling, like, maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do that, or maybe, this relationship has expired and I need to, detach from this person, or, you know what I mean? Oh, maybe, this job is draining me, and I need to leave this job, or, this relationship that I'm in is really not serving me, and it's becoming toxic. I should really, I should really leave this relationship. Or, this family member is really getting on my nerves, and I find myself avoiding them at every corner. I should probably talk to them. And we get these thoughts and these inclinations, and we're too stubborn, or we're too shy, and we doubt ourselves, and we're like, it's not necessary, but these things are necessary for us to get to the next level. And sometimes, we are so stubborn that, God kind of forces you, like, he makes it so you have to take that next step. You know what I mean? And the whole point is for you getting those thoughts, and for you even imagining that this needs to happen for you to get to the next step, is so that you can do it on your own without, situations making it so you're forced to do it. You could avoid that pain and that disappointment if you just take that step before it gets to the point where it needs to be forced out of you. That's definitely happened to me time and time again. I'm like, oh no, like, this can't be right. Like, I know I probably should talk to this person about this, but like, what, I don't want to cause any kind of, drama, or, this person really isn't serving my life right now, and I really should detach, but I really don't want to have that hard conversation. No, have those hard conversations. Take it from me, because I am very stubborn in that way, and I hate confrontation and things like that. But I keep finding myself in these situations with confrontations because I'm not taking the initiative and handling it on my own. I'm waiting for it to come to me, and that is, like, something that I'm personally working on, and I encourage you to work on. Like, Don't wait until the situation is so bad that you're forced to make a move. Step ahead and get ahead of the game and get it done right away to avoid all of the, to avoid the delay. You know what I mean? Just get to the next step without all the other unnecessary, hurt. But anyway, I hope that you found this interesting or helpful in some kind of way. If there's anything that you want to hear my thoughts on, let me know. If you want to hear what kind of advice I'd give about any given situation, let me know. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but whatever. I do love to kind of share things, and I love to motivate. I love to inspire. That is just part of my personality. It's just part of what I love to do. I feel like that is part of what my purpose is. I don't know exactly what role, how I'm gonna do it. I don't know. I am thinking about writing a book or starting a podcast. I don't know. But this is just what I love to do, and it's just part of who I am. So I hope that you guys enjoy it. Let me know. We could have little mini discussions if you like. I'm open to conversation.